All right, let's talk about another movie that's out in theaters. One that I think both of us did not enjoy
Yo,
as
this should
much
not be in
as
theaters.
the last
This better
two.
not be in theaters.
Yeah, it almost feels like it doesn't belong in theaters. I mean, I saw it at home thanks to TIFF Digital last year. Let's talk a little bit about Dashcam, the new horror film from Rob Savage, who I think came onto most people's radar in 2020 because his horror film Host was one of the first films shot and released post-COVID lockdowns. I felt like it did some interesting things in terms of playing with its limited confines, like pushing up against the limits of what is allowable in like a Zoom format, and transitioning from a Zoom horror movie to a Dashcam horror movie sounds like it would be a good fit. Turns out it really was not. I absolutely hated this film for several reasons, the protagonist just being one of them. But Art, you got to see it more recently than me. Were you a little more positive on Dashcam than I am?
No, but I think it's better than Host. I don't like Host. I don't get
really
what people look. We were in all the pandemic and we were all Zooming. So then we saw someone make a Zoom movie and we're like, damn, that's really good. Rewatch Host, bro. There is so many mistakes that happen in that movie. A lot of people say, oh, it does things that Unfriended didn't do. It's not one single thing that the movie does that Unfriended didn't do. But it popped. Blumhouse gave him a 3-picture deal. This is the first of that 3-picture deal. Like you said, it played at TIFF. People were watching this in theaters. He made it for the theatrical experience. I don't understand that. This is a movie that's doing two things at the same time. You are following a woman named Annie, who has a YouTube show. The woman, the actress who plays her, is also named Annie, who has the same YouTube show where she sings while she's in her car, raps while she's in her car. She's supposed to freestyle anything that's on the chat.
Kind of.
No.
Yeah.
The entire movie, you're either paying attention to the chat on the right or you're paying attention to what's happening on screen. I'm a big found footage fan. I think the found footage in this is it's all right. It's not the greatest. I don't think it's the worst I've seen. If you're not a fan of found footage, it is not going to convince you. But you got to do the SpongeBob eyes and
Absolutely
split them because if you're watching this in theaters, if you're not watching this at home to be able to pause, you're going to have to decide which movie you're watching. I can guarantee you're not going to watch this twice. There is a whole storyline happening within the chat, and then a whole storyline happening within her going to go visit a friend because she's in the UK, if I'm not mistaken, trying to reunite with a buddy. And because she's such an annoying character, it ends up devolving into her stealing their car and then picking up a woman who may or may not be older than what she is, may or may not be possessed, and may or may not have these supernatural powers that start creating a bunch of crazy stuff. There is no dash cam in this movie.
That's the other thing. It's a webcam. It's not a dash cam. The title is lying to you.
It's not engaging, in my opinion. I think you get tired of the characters really quick, which, give or take,
Very quick.
There was a movie a couple years back called Tyrell, which was also made by a Spanish filmmaker who was just like, so I heard about
Sebastian
the racism
Silva.
in America. Let me get Michael Cera to make a movie about what I think racism is in America. So this is Rob Savage is from the UK. And instead of making a movie about Brexit, he's like, what if I made a movie about the foolishness they got over there in America? So he decided to, tune in to a bunch of live streams to see the most belligerent stuff on chats. And I don't know, at one point he didn't realize that listening to those chats and watching them in real time is boring and lame. And he's like, but what if I made that into a movie and then forced y'all to pay a ticket to go see it? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's always that idea that you put an annoying character on screen, and I get it, they're supposed to be annoying, but then if that's all you're giving people, then what did you expect? Especially if that's what you're reflecting on.
Right.
He's supposed to be saying that this is a movie where don't ignore the other side, that there should be a conversation between two people, and he has no response to that because it doesn't mean anything. He's not actually saying anything, and it doesn't need to say anything.
Empty.
Yeah, but I don't get the setup.
That's the thing. I don't need a big message from my found footage horror movies, but if you're trying to say something, then you should actually say it well, and this movie does not. And it's beyond the anti-vaxxer, MAGA hat, whatever bullshit that she does in the movie. She's just annoying.
It's
She's
corny.
just antagonistic and frustrating and whiny, and on a moment to moment basis, like, it makes the movie harder to watch, less pleasant to watch than had somebody else been in this role. And you know, like, I get sometimes that can be the appeal of having a character like that, but there was no appeal here. It was just not fun. The found footage, as you mentioned, it's not the worst, but it's not convincing. I think most of the actual, you know, scares or whatever are kind of done off screen and alluded to more than shown. And it's, you know, it's clever for low budget filmmaking, but it's not that rewarding in a movie that is very light on rewarding aspects.
Yeah. Even a lot of the chat, it's meant to homage her show on YouTube. So it's like, it doesn't really apply to anything. And it does this thing where when something's happening on screen, the chat automatically reacts to it as soon as it happens. Like, the moment that something appears on screen, someone's already sent a message about it. I'm like, yo, y'all didn't even take the time to sync this up in an appropriate manner. I will say this, Zach. I thought the ending was funny. The ending bit in the movie I actually thought was pretty hilarious. But if you are not a fan of found footage, this is not going to be for you. If you are a fan of horror, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. Maybe. But other than that, I'd put it to the side. If you're a found footage fan, you just check it out just to have it in the catalog. But I personally am not a big fan of Rob Savage so far. He's working with Blumhouse, which there's no better company to just give you, you know, the limited amount budget and allow you to do whatever you want, because that's the one thing you're going to get from them over at Blum. You're going to be able to make whatever movie you want. And he made this just like he made Host, and none of them have delivered up to me, but we'll see what he does with the other two that are on the horizon.
Yeah, we will hear more from him, I guess.